What's up everybody, my name is Tonny and I'm here with another Warframe guide video. In this video, we will be looking at the Umbral Hydroid Prime Hybrid, or in this case, other Warframe abilities that can work with Hydroid. Now there's not many abilities out there that can work with Hydroid, because Hydroid, all he needs is just straight up his Tentacles and he's okay. I mean, we got some War, we got some Eclipse, sure, why not? Maybe Breach Surge even. But when it comes to other abilities that can sync pretty well with his Tentacles, it's not many. I would say there's very few, but I do have a few of them, of course, that will work with the Tentacles. There is, however, one ability that won't work with Tentacles, but it's still pretty useful to have on Hydroid just in case, and I'll go over that very soon. Before we get into the build of Hydroid though, let's take a look at the weapons here, which is the Secura family set here. Let's take a look at the appearance of this Penta weapon first, and here I have the Shock Camo skin, and then for the dual Cetrus, I have the dual pistol skin here with the parallel, and then for the Selecta, I have the Shock Camo skin here, and that is the Secura. For the attachments, holster style, sword on the left hip, so that's straight up a platinum holster style, because the way on the back is kind of weird, so I just put it on the hip. Let's go straight into the weapon builds first, real fast you guys. This is the Riven version of Penta. 79 to electricity, 94 to heat, 91 to toxin. I know what you guys are thinking, that's kind of weird, but I did make it work so that it does corrosive and heat, so it's pretty good. Really good damage here. And with the napalm grenades, which is a must-have, I recommend having this, because here's the thing: if you guys replace this with vigilante armaments, yeah, you get a straight up, flat out 30% bonus. And to compare this with another, let's say a status 60/60 chance mod here, let's go ahead and put in, let's replace heavy caliber real fast. You guys can see the difference, right? So that's a must-have. Not to mention it leaves a burning fire thing, so it gives increased damage. So that's where the heat comes from, is from this. So that's how much damage it does. So if I replace a mod again, let's do it real fast here. You guys can see the damage is like super low. Look at that. Oh my gosh. If I put it back here, look at that. That's a lot. So you must have napalm grenades to make this weapon really good. Pretty damn sure not many people put this on, but you know what? Might as well. But for those that don't have a Riven, this is what it looks like. Secura Dual Cestra. So with this Riven, I have a 108.3 to puncture, 131 to critical chance, 95 to cold. It does viral. It's not that bad. Got the other weapon mods here. When it comes to the Xless though, I highly recommend Steady Hands. Otherwise, this weapon will just straight up have higher recoil and is really hard to control. So Steady Hands is a must-have. Without a Riven, this is what it looks like. Secura Electa, I have a Riven here as well, and that is a 159 to critical chance, 79 to CD, which is critical damage, and 37 to damage to Grenier. But the negative 35 to attack speed really hurts this. But I can play it on my advantage here. So I have Berserker and Prime Fury, but since the weapon does very little damage, I'm going to go ahead and use heavy attack only, and this is what I have: Killing Blow with Amalgam Organ Shatter. Prime Fury Strike, you guys can replace this with a what is it called? Corrupt Charge if you guys want, but I just leave it on that because I want that corrosive status. For those that want to have no Riven, obviously you guys could use this, replacing Shocking Touch with Prime Fury Strike, or, like I said earlier before, Corrupt Charge, or whatever mods you guys want, but I highly recommend Prime Fury Strike or Corrupt Charge. And for those that don't want to use heavy attack, well, good luck with that, but this is a good build, should be okay for endless stuff, because you got Condition Overload, which is a must-have because of the damage, and Weeping Wounds and Blood Rush. This should help, and the Quickening does increase attack speed by a little bit, and it helps you increase the combat count chance, which is great. You guys can replace this with whatever you guys want. Prime Pressure Point, Prime Fury, whatever you guys want, you guys can do that. Alright, so on to the Hydroid Prime build. I got the first build here for you guys. This is what I recommend mostly, and that is the pulling for the Hydroid. Now, you guys can replace this with Zephyr's Airburst, but it's not quite effective. Here are the stats for Tentacle Swarm and for the Undertow. You guys can also use Tempest Barrage if you guys want. You guys go use all four of these abilities, but it does cost, well, a lot of casting obviously. But let me explain why you guys can use pull here. When you guys are pulling enemies, not only do you pull them and do damage to them, but they can also land right on top of the Tentacle Swarm, allowing the tentacles to hit them. So obviously you want the Pilfering Swarm. For the Arcanes, I got Arcane Energize and Guardian. Now, I do have energy conversion here. When it comes to that, you guys, do not proc energy conversion on the pull, otherwise you do more damage. Obviously, you try to get as much damage as possible for the Tentacle Swarm, but not too much to that you will kill enemies when you pull them. Only proc energy conversion on Tentacle Swarm, and do not proc energy conversion, or try not to proc during the pull. For the aura mods, I use Energy 7 for the energy. You guys can swap this out for corrosive projection, but you know what, I need energy more than corrosive projection. I don't really care about armor because I one-shot anything that comes out my way anyways. I do have another build here, but it's not quite working as you guys may expect. So let me explain right now. When it comes to the second build, and that is the Aura Gaze, you guys will pretty much say that's not going to work. Of course it's not going to work because the enemies which are stoned up or petrified do not get that ragdoll effect. And obviously, if they are ragdolled, that means the Performing Swarm is working on them. When you guys are using Orgaze on an enemy and then you cast the Tentacles, obviously it's not going to drop extra loot because they are not really on the tentacle. So how do you use the tentacle with pull? Well, obviously you guys can stand on the Tentacle Swarm and then press your pull ability, or you guys can use Undertow, pull, and then your Tentacle Swarm. Remember to proc energy conversion on a Tentacle Swarm if you want to, but do not proc energy conversion on pull. And as always, you guys can also proc energy conversion on Undertow if you guys are going to use that. Same thing with the first ability as well. Now we've seen the first ability on my #1 pick, and that is the pull off from Mag. But what about the second pick? We already know about the third pick, and that would be Orgaze, but it doesn't work well with Hydroid, so don't even think about using Orgaze on Hydroid until it's fixed. Otherwise, you might need to play a different playstyle if you guys are going to be using Orgaze. So what exactly is the second pick? Well, I already said it before, I'll say it again. I think Zephyr's Airburst actually does work pretty well. Not effectively as the Mag Pull, but should be useful. And here are the stats here at 970 damage on contact or explosion, and the range will be 6.32 meters. So, and the range is basically the explosion radius. You also have other abilities like War or Eclipse, stuff like that. Breach Surge, you guys can use that too. Any other abilities with damaging, you guys can use that. But the top threes are the ones that I think works okay or works pretty well with Hydroid, except Orgaze of course. But either way, I think once DE fixes the Orgaze with the Tentacles, I'm pretty damn sure it will be a lot more useful than it is now. And that is it for this video, guys. I know there's a very little abilities out there, but if you guys want to use something that works well with Tentacles, well, there it is. If you guys like this video, give it a like. Hopefully this video helps you guys a little bit on Hydroid, because it's pretty hard to find a hybrid build for it. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to support my channel. So next time, you guys, peace out.